People, everybody out there, if you watching this, you are epic, lit, legendary, and you know you rocking with Lex, the author of Astrosthetics, the Aesthetics of Astrology, and The Easy Complex, How to Finesse Your Reality. Make sure you go on to easycomplex.com and pick up a copy of both of these beautiful, amazing books because you love both of them. You like them. So make sure you go on to easycomplex.com and pick them up right now. And I know y'all see the merch that I'm wearing. Make sure y'all go on there and join the Inner Peace Space Club. You can pick up this beautiful merch only on the easycomplex.com. And make sure y'all get Astrosthetics. This is my new book and it's 500 pages and we will be reading some excerpts of it today. So the last time we spoke, we conversed about the sun. And this was a derivative of the conversation we was having about the big three. The sun, the moon, and the ascendant. The last time we spoke about the sun. Now this time we'll speak about the moon. So look, make sure y'all pick up a copy of Astrosthetics. Let's begin. The moon deals with our dreams, our subconscious, water, liquids, the mother. And I'll stop right there. You can already feel the moon. The moon deals with feelings. The moon deals with receptivity. The sun is projective and expressive. And the moon is reflective and almost like an absorbent. So the moon deals with your emotional receptivity. And the moon also, big shout out to the beautiful divine mother. The moon governs the mother, the feminine energy. And it's also the governor of liquids. So you can see how the moon plays a role in the female menstruation cycle. Because the moon governs liquids. Alright? So the moon also governs memory. Now, when we say that the moon governs memory, this is interesting because fundamentally we think that memory is like a mercurial cognition based type of thing. You know, like we think memory is thinking and it deals with our thought process. But when we see here that the moon governs memory, it's like, is memory something that is emotional? Is memory really attached to our feelings? Because think about it. When you think about certain things, there is an emotional attachment attached to certain feelings and thoughts that we have. And this shows us that there is a relationship between the internal conversations that we're having with ourselves and how we're going to remember things. How you're speaking to yourself in the internal world is also gonna manifest into your emotional state of awareness. So this is why the moon is also like so important. The sun deals with an aspect of the father, the radiance of the father. And then the moon is dealing with the emotional receptivity of the mother. And this is why the moon also deals with family. And also the fourth house, this is where we begin to see the effects of early childhood programming and also nurturing. You remember how you were nurtured, right? And this shows that memory teeters the line between the mental faculties and the emotional faculties as well. So it's almost like memory is a mix of both, right? Emotions and logic. And this is also something that becomes even more important because in some aspects of astrology, the moon and Mercury have a very ambiguous relationship. But then the moon has a very ambiguous relationship with all of the planets. There are even some aspects of the moon that are Venusian, right? There are even some aspects of the moon that are a bit Martian. There are some aspects of the moon that are a bit Jupiterian and Saturnian. So, being that the moon changes signs every 2.5 to 2.8 days, just like the sun, when the sun is at aphelion and perihelion, the moon travels faster in certain parts of the sky. This is why sometime it might take the moon 2.5 days to change signs, or it might take the moon 2.8 days. But once a month, the moon is going to be in alignment with everything, right? But as opposed to the sun, it's once a year. And as opposed to Saturn, every 30 years. You get what I'm saying? So the moon is receptive to almost like the entire universe. It goes around the celestial sphere every 28 days. And this is also the basis of a month or a month. And you can see that the month is governed by the moon, because it takes the moon every 2.5 to 2.8 days, it changes signs. That is about every 28 to 30 days, right? That's a month. So this is also why the moon is so beautiful and so divine. And we also mentioned the last time that the moon brings all of the stars. When the sun is out, you can see Mercury, you can see Venus. Sometimes you can see the sun and the moon together. But when the moon comes out, the moon is receptive to the entire universe. When the moon arises, when the sun goes down, the moon brings all of the stars with her. Like, what's up? And this is also why, in ancient times, the moon was so highly revered. Because essentially, you could observe the universe a lot easier with the moon being out. Right? So, seeing that it's easier to study and analyze with the moon, this also goes into the ambiguity with the moon and Mercury, because Mercury deals with analyzing and detail and becoming precise. When the moon rises, right, we can study the universe a lot easier, because in the daytime you can't see shit. You only got the big beautiful sun radiating its light across the whole universe. You get what I'm saying? So this also goes into that ambiguity between even the moon and Venus. The moon and Venus both govern an aspect of music and emotional awareness and the feelings. These are both Venusian but what about Neptune? The Neptune is the highest octave of the moon. You get what I'm saying? So, but yeah, let's read some more. The moon also deals with ancestors, family, feminine energy, absorption, and privacy. The moon rules Cancer and its detriment is in Capricorn. The moon is also exalted in Taurus. Now, this is important. Make sure y'all pick up Astrostatics. What we just read is important because Canstar is the sign of nurturing, right? Emotions, your emotions should be nurtured. It is important that you feel great about yourself on an internal, private level. Look at one of the keywords for the moon. Privacy. Because the moon also governs the home, the internal world. It's important that you feel amazing in your private world, in your private home. You should have a positive state of emotional awareness. Now, when we say that the moon is exalted in Taurus, this is one of my favorite exaltations because this is showing us that being grounded, being stable, having a stable family, having a stable relationship with the woman around you. Of course, you want to have a stable relationship with the men as well, but having that stable relationship with the family, with the home, being stable with your memory and how you recollect your past emotions. The moon being exalted in Taurus is showing us that it's important when we focus on practical, reality-based things. The moon is exalted in Taurus, right? The moon is in detriment in Capricorn. So being emotionally sensitive to things like status, right? Because that's Capricorn. That deals with status. And that's going to also be what we get into next time. Capricorn deals with status and authority. Being emotionally sensitive about things like that, those are byproducts from being grounded and stable in your internal world. This is why the moon is exalted in Taurus and not in Capricorn.